George has treated us all to fish and chips for our tea, as it's a little late to start cooking. I wasn't sure whether to start, Sarah said. What took you so long? I thought you'd gone out for a stroll and a cup of tea at Mitchell's. We met Ruby and Bob and started talking about their wedding. Then after the air raid warning went off, I had a word with Betty, and she's offered me my job back. Well, a couple of hours a day to start with. That's when I decided I ought to walk more, and George has been pushing the empty wheelchair round the town, Maureen said, giving George a grateful look. Then we went to the Odeon to see Waterloo Road. I've been very spoilt all afternoon. So you should, after what you've been through, George said, patting her shoulder as he went into the kitchen to fetch plates for their tea. Sarah felt a lurch of sadness course through her. Granted, her mother-in-law had been injured when a rocket exploded at the New Cross Woolworths, but her mum had died. It looked to her as though her dad had forgotten he'd lost his wife, the way he was fussing around Maureen. Not enjoying your meal? George asked, noticing Sarah pick at her food. I could boil you an egg if you prefer, a concerned Maureen said. You need to keep your strength up. Sarah gave them both a weak smile. I'm not that hungry. Thank you all the same. Perhaps I'll bundle up what's left and take a slow walk round to Nan's tomorrow with the children. Nelson will enjoy the leftovers. George looked at Maureen, who gave a subtle nod back. Sarah frowned. What's going on? She asked, looking at their concerned faces. George cleared his throat, looking uncomfortable. It's like this, love. I don't want you getting upset, but... Sarah started to get annoyed. But what? What is it you're trying to tell me? George looked distressed and seemed unable to speak, so Maureen took over. Sarah, love, what George wants you to know is that Nelson passed away early this morning. We were going to wait to tell you when... She nodded towards Georgina, who was busy eating her chips. When little Ears here wasn't about. Sarah didn't believe what she was hearing. With a stifled sob, she left the table and rushed upstairs to her bedroom. Why was everything changing in her life? First her mum, and now Nelson. Nothing would ever be the same again in her life. She couldn't wait for the day when Alan came home for good, and life returned as much to normal as was possible. As she lay on her bed, trying hard to remain calm, she could hear chatter from downstairs before footsteps and the creak of the wooden staircase told her that someone had come to see her. There was a tap on the door. Sarah, can I come in? Yes, Dad. Come in, she said, in not much more than a whisper. Poor, it's a bit nippy in here. He shivered as he sat on the edge of the bed. Here, let's wrap this round you. He took hold of the edge of a pink floral eiderdown and pulled it around her shoulders. Now, what's all this about? I've never known you turn down a nice bit of fish. I'm probably being daft, Dad, but so much is changing. Hearing about Nelson just made things so much worse. Do you think I'm being silly? I feel so frightened at times. George put his arms round his daughter and tugged her until she could hardly breathe. She could smell his shaving soap and the tobacco he liked to smoke in his pipe. Both were strong, reassuring smells. There's nothing daft in feeling frightened. Why, I've been frightened and more than a little worried for so many years I've lost count. Sarah leant back and looked her dad in the face. You've been frightened? But you're a man, and you have an important job. You tell people what to do. Why would you feel frightened? I have a lot of responsibility, I'll have you know, young lady, he said, tweaking her nose like he had done when she was a child. And I'm a grown woman with a husband and 2 children, so stop doing that, she laughed, pushing his hand away. And we are both allowed to be a little frightened and worried at times. I worried as soon as your mum told me she was expecting you, and a day hasn't passed since without me worrying for your safety and your future. I worry about your Alan and the brave job he does, and I worry for all the lads who use the equipment I help make at Vickers. That's a lot of worry, I'll have you know, he said. giving her a gentle smile. Don't go thinking you have the monopoly on worrying.